Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Terry. In the course of my job at ETC, I do a lot of talking to people about technology, their equipment, what works and what doesn't work for them. And so it was that I found myself in front of a large group of lighting people at a major university a while back. Professors, designers, technicians, and students made for a lively discussion. So I said, "What's going on in your equipment world?" They said, "We just got these great new LED fixtures, and we've been using them in all our shows. They change colors. We love them." I probed a bit deeper. How do you like those colors you get?" "Well, they're not perfect. We have a lot of trouble getting the colors we like from the gel book. Sometimes the costumes look funny." I kept going. "How about the dimming performance?" "Actually, it stinks. You can see lots of stepping, especially at the bottom end of the fade. It's really hard to get smooth fades." So I said to them, "What are you going to do about these issues?" And they said, "Well, we're going to buy some more of them, of course." I was stunned. At that moment, I had a technology epiphany. We're in the middle of a truly disruptive technology shift in the entertainment industry. Probably the last one of this scale was Thomas Edison delivering the light bulb to the stage door and the gas jets getting shut off by the plumbing department. The appearance of solid-state lighting is apparently a technology so compelling that it sweeps aside lots of the artistic precepts we've lived by for years. It appears to be pushing the good enough line downwards in areas like color choice, color rendition, smooth dimming, consistency between fixtures, and indeed, quality of light. How's this possible? I scratched my head for quite a while on this question, and the inevitable conclusion is that some technologies have a killer app buried in them. It might be lowering the cost of a device by an order of magnitude, so you just have to buy it. It might be having your entire music collection in your pocket. Or in our case, it might be the seductive nature of having thousands of colors, even approximate colors, available from every light in the theater at the push of a button. That single feature puts a lot of downward pressure on the good enough line for other performance features, even ones that were previously must-haves. My friend, the late Theron Musser, one of the most talented lighting designers in the world, often decried what she called supermarket lighting. This was the technique of hanging the whole supermarket of lighting fixtures in every possible position in the theater so that forethought and planning would become less critical. The results of this approach were rarely artistically satisfying, which is why, in a Theron Musser design, every light and color in the theater had a carefully pre-planned purpose. But that approach is hard. And it doesn't work well when confronted with a mercurial director or set designer. There's no inherent plan B for a lighting designer when the production is confronted with radical change, other than getting the ladder out. But with LED fixtures that change color, plans B through Z are instantly available. But beware, for danger lurks here. Let's not worry too much in advance about planning the design. We can make it up on the fly. Now, that's not to say that this killer app is only compelling to less than stellar, non-planning lighting designers. A Tony Award-winning Broadway lighting designer, one I might add with lion-like skills, told me a few weeks ago, "LEDs are great for lighting drops and vertical surfaces, but I won't use them to light people." I listened up. This was a far cry from "build me an all-LED theater." I was anxious to hear from someone who steadfastly resisted downward pressure on his artistic good enough line in the face of a new technology typhoon. He laid out a few simple reasons why LED technology can't currently do what he needs to light people. They made a lot of sense. I was relieved. Here was a noted lighting professional who was using LEDs selectively rather than drinking pitchers of LED Kool-Aid. The Brits have a great expression, horses for courses, by which they mean, of course, that not every tool, even an exciting new technology, is suitable for every application. In 1987, Ken Billington and I went to Los Angeles to see a new production of Tristan und Isolde. True confessions, after the flight, we both nodded off during parts of the 5-hour production. The director and designer was David Hockney, and it was an all-Verilight design. Verilight and Wally Russell, then the LA Music Center Opera technical director, had donated an all-Verilight rig to the production. The grand experiment of the first ever use of Verilights in opera was even considered a bit revolutionary. There would be a symposium of lighting professionals the next day to discuss the results. Game on, I thought. The results were interesting, but curiously crude. A cyc lit with Verilight wash lights just didn't look very good, among other things. And wow, those early Verilights were really noisy. Even though most of the failings of the production were forgiven, in subsequent remountings, the new designer made use of automated lights where they made sense. But not every light was automated. And automated lights are now found in grand opera all over the world, but never to the exclusion of conventional lights. The technology proved to be another useful tool in the toolbox, but not a universal solution to all lighting problems. Likewise, predictions of the demise of conventional lighting fixtures on Broadway in the face of automated lights turned out to be wrong. All these examples prove to me that the appearance of a new technology, even one with compelling features, simply does not make it the right tool for every application. So why then are people now saying we need to plan for all LED lighting rigs? Wait a minute, I didn't hear any theater professionals say, change my contract. I can't light with old tungsten technology anymore. But it feels like this boat is leaving the dock, doesn't it? How come? I may be a cynic, wait, I am one. But one reason is that the entertainment industry, as small as it is, appears to be getting religion on the issue of energy efficiency. Previously, we claimed exemptions from energy legislation due to our tiny consumption and very low duty cycles, and it made good sense. Now we're singing a slightly different tune as we hear the rumble of dump trucks unloading money to pay for more energy-efficient equipment. Wow, you mean I can get color-changing LED fixtures and get the power company to pay for them? I need them. You're right, I was wasting tons of energy, but now I'll reform. Another reason is that we have to plan for this technology or we'll get caught short. At the moment, we're in the zone of confusion between tried and true old technology and new disruptive LED technology. And make no mistake, that's everybody being confused. Manufacturers, lighting designers, building engineers, technicians, the whole universe of people that the technology touches. But this zone of confusion is a really important place for us as we learn how to use the technology to creative advantage. There's no need to rush headlong into using it where it just doesn't make sense. Unfortunately, there are forces pushing us to do just that. Manufacturers are introducing new LED products at a dizzying pace. Consultants are working to position themselves as new technology experts by specifying LED products. People are feeling left behind if they don't jump on board with both feet. In fact, there's money that needs to be made here. In fact, sometimes just the appearance of a new technology creates an apparent demand for that technology and a false sense of urgency. In my view, that's a classic case of tail wagging dog. It's mighty hard to find anyone saying, slow down, take a breath, just use this technology where it makes sense or it makes the piece better. Instead, they're saying, build me an all-LED theater, or let's do an all-LED show. But we also need to ask why, and does it make sense for the piece? We're on a technology-driven trajectory, but just at the beginning. Our current LED fixtures are like bag phones with shoulder straps. But there are surely iPhones in our LED future. When they arrive, we better have adequately planned for them in our new buildings and learned how to use them effectively in our designs, and neither of these can happen overnight. Perhaps I'm a neo-Luddite, but a calmer pace of adoption might be the way to go. So, will this particular disruptive LED technology make our lives better, our art better, or the theater-going experience better? My crystal ball is broken on that, but I'll segue into my own theater-going experience. I recently went to see the most technically sophisticated Broadway show ever produced. I got blown away by the flying performers and the transformative automated scenery. No doubt part of my reaction was driven by some understanding of just how hard and costly these feats were and how long they took to perfect. I simply could not believe my eyes. Then my friends asked me, how'd you like the show? I found myself saying, it was the most amazing piece of technology I've ever seen. It stood on its own as a technical tour de force. Now, the book was terrible, the music sucked, and I didn't care about the characters, but it didn't matter. I sure liked the technology. A while later, I woke up and came to my senses. I realized that the experience created no emotional connection between me and the piece of theater on stage. My reaction could have been the same watching live the on-orbit repair of the Hubble Space Telescope. Sure, it was a fascinating feat of technology that got my engineering juices flowing, but emotional connection, no way. And I guess emotional connection has defined the great theater moments I've experienced in my life, those that have stayed with me forever. When that connection is lacking, the experience fades quickly for me. On the other hand, pieces with which I had strong emotional connections, like A Chorus Line, which was the first Broadway show I worked on, or War Horse, or Sunday in the Park with George, or Once, they all shared a common theme. The technology, if there was any, faded to the background and let the piece and the actors drive the experience. In fact, sometimes the lack of technology connected the audience even more tightly to the experience. Great moments in theater don't begin with a warehouse of new technology begging to be used. They start with telling a story and telling it in the best way possible. That is something that only happens with a director and design team spending hours talking about and deciding what the show is and what the audience experience is, including the use of technology. First, there has to be an emotional human connection with the piece. Later, the decisions come about how to realize that human connection. Some of those will be technology decisions. In all my favorite theatrical experiences I mentioned earlier, the technology was firmly cast as the tail and never the dog. I think we need to fight to keep it that way. Thank you.